I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. The Jace Edwards story. Who is more dangerous to the black community? Salute to all of my moderators. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Let me read my copyright disclaimer and then we'll get into this demonstration. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. We've been faced with this problem for years. And until we get together and find a way to stop the killings that's going on in our community, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And you all know how I feel about the solutions. I've said it several times and I'll say it again. There's nothing wrong with praying. However, if we think that all we got to do is pray and things will get better, we're wrong. More police officers in our community, it's not going to stop it. Marching and protesting is not going to stop it. My opinion, black men are the only ones that are going to be able to stop this. And this is a situation that we keep seeing over and over and over again. When a 4-year-old little boy is not safe in his own home, a 4-year little boy is not safe in his bed while he's sleeping because men that look just like him are committing these cowardly acts that takes the life of a 4-year-old little boy. The 4-year-old boy that I'm speaking of is none other than Jayce Edwards. I invite you all to take a trip with me as we get into the story of the 4-year-old little boy that lost his life while he was sleeping to four coward men that were attempting to steal a car. You're already in the wrong for trying to steal a car. But in the attempt to steal a car, one of them let off a shot that took the life of Jayce Edwards. We're going to start with the family of Jayce Edwards. I'm going to run a clip. And I did speak with a family member. So can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands for Jayce Edwards and his family? And also, can I get everybody to hashtag justice for Jayce Edwards?
I'm angry because he didn't have a chance. And not of no fault of his own.
Developing tonight, a family outrage that a shining light in their lives is now gone. Little Jayce Edwards was just 4 years old when a bullet fired into his home took his life.
Today, Channel 9's Eli Brand spoke with his family.
He would be over there jumping.
The walk from their apartments to this playground is not an unusual one for Nicole Johnson and Shakayla Gregory.
Being on the swing.
In the past, it's been one filled with joy because of who's typically with them. But this walk,
this is surreal.
all the ones that will follow it, will be filled with a different emotion because the child usually with them was taken too soon.
Tell me he's on life support. And she says he didn't make it out the living room. And I just started screaming again. I'm just like, why? Why? Like, what do we do as a family?
Johnson's great nephew and Gregory's godson, Jayce Edwards, was asleep in his bed on Cigar Court last week. Just outside his window, police say multiple men were stealing a car. And all of a sudden, at least one of those men pointed a gun at the home Jayce was in and pulled the trigger. A bullet hit Jayce and killed him.
People say with time it gets better. It's been a week and it's been harder for me. Because again, he would be with me today. When I look at the brother, I always think that I wake up and think Jace. And I'm like, yeah, I have to keep reminding myself that.
Gregory and Johnson were in bed when they got the early morning call from family members telling them Jayce had been shot. First, they couldn't believe it, but they managed to get to him. Just as part of their daily joy, took his last breath.
I am genuinely heartbroken. To be frank, I'm angry. Because he didn't have a chance. And not of no fault of his own.
There he goes. Finally got him in the pool after all that.
That joy still lives on in pictures. Pictures of Jace's smile and memories of his ability to make others do the same.
The overlook here is one of his favorite places to go. He calls it the big park. And he watches the planes take off. And he just was an amazing kid. You know, you see kids all the time, you know, playing and, you know, but he was different. He was something else.
These two say they will make sure Jace's joy lives on and makes a difference moving forward.
Now, let me ask you something. Let me come to my chat. Let me get my chat involved. We know for a fact that if a police officer took the life of little Jayce, we know there would be a major outrage. We know that if somebody white, Asian, Mexican, or any other nationality was responsible for taking Jayce's life, we know that it would be an outrage. Where's the outrage? 4 black men are responsible for ending his life. Where is the outrage? Can anybody in my chat, can anybody on the replay game, please tell me, where's the outrage? Appreciate the super sticker, Michelle. And if you would like to help me reach my goal of 15 super stickers or super chats, just click on the $ symbol. No outrage. But as I said before, had it been a police officer, a white police officer, or a black police officer, had it just been a regular white man or another nationality that ended his life, there would be an outrage. When will we stand up and fight against black on black crime? Are y'all listening to me? A 4-year-old little boy's life. And he's not the only little boy's life that was ended by black men. We got it hard enough. Now, if this is your first time pulling up with me, let me just give you a brief history on my platform and what I do as a content creator. My platform is an open platform. Everybody's opinion and perspective is welcome. Me as a content creator, I advocate for victims of all. I advocate for any nationality. I advocate for any gender. I advocate for any political party. I advocate for any religious organization. I advocate for victims. And in advocating for victims, whoever it is that's perpetrating the act against the victim, I'm against those people or that individual. Doesn't make a difference their race, their gender, their political background, or their religion. Right is right and wrong is wrong. But I need us as Black men, I need for us to look at what's been going on. And I need us to stop pointing the finger at everybody else. Because you and I both know when it comes to the other communities, they're going to protect their communities. You ain't going to go into their communities and see their men unaliving these babies. Only in our community. And if any of their men unalive any of their babies, it's going to be an outrage. Whatever men that took the life of a baby in their community, that man probably won't even make it to court, if y'all know where I'm coming from. But as Black men, why do we condone this sucker shit? Excuse my language, because I'm sure that there are people out there that I may have offended. But I'm talking to the men, and I have to talk to them in their language. As Black men, why do we condone this sucker shit? This is sucker shit. It's sucker shit to steal somebody else's car, first of all. Somebody that worked hard. You know, somebody worked hard for that car that you are attempting to steal. That's sucker shit. Get your own. Work hard and get your own. Then it's sucker shit to let off some shots because you about to get caught. And the most sucker shit out of it all is you are responsible for taking the life of a little boy. Now, in these kind of cases, I'm sure that it was a mistake. I'm praying that it was a mistake. But even if it was a mistake, we can't afford to have these mistakes to take place. So sad about this situation. Shank, Black men have a lot going on, but when y'all have had enough and stand tall together, hopefully this will all stop. How are y'all doing today? Appreciate this super sticker, Statements by Rainbow. It's sad. You know, it's sad.
A mission for the little man they loved, taken too soon. Reporting in Southwest Charlotte, Eli Brand, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
All right, let's go deeper into this case.
Bring in our chief analyst, Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, you broke this down actually right after the shooting happened on Wednesday. Seeing the charges there, first degree, are you surprised? Are you not surprised? And how did they get to where they charge these guys?
Yeah, not surprised. I mean, you're going to charge what you believe you can prove and convict at trial. And so that the prosecutor obviously is seeing more information than we have. And so they're looking at the DA's, the detective's report. They're looking at a number of things. And when they charge these individuals, yeah, they're going to seek, and I should say they, as in the detectives, are going to submit this information to the magistrate. They're going to submit their information to the magistrate. The magistrate's going to either find that there was probable cause to bring a murder charge. And now once it's papered, once it leaves the magistrate's office and gets to the district attorney's office, then at that moment, they will maybe adjust charges to upwards or downwards. I mean, sometimes I see cases where it's possession with intent to sell or deliver. And then once it gets to the DA's office, they're like, you know what? We weighed these drugs. It's higher than the threshold Now we're going to lift it to trafficking, and sometimes it's vice versa. And so, yeah, the DA's office really doesn't make that determination. It's going to be the officer, and then they're going to submit it to the magistrate. They're going to have a hearing right there in the magistrate's office, and they'll make that determination then if we're going to go with a murder charge.
Murder is murder, Khalif, but when you have a child that's murdered, I feel like the heaviness of the emotions are there. Does that ever cause more severe penalties, or is the penalty the same no matter the age of the person killed?
It should not add anything in terms of how justice is dealt out. I mean, we have our statutes, and they're supposed to be blind but the victim portion comes in a number of capacities. In sentencing, for instance, we have a presumptive range where a person could be sentenced, but then we also have an aggravated range or a mitigated range if outside of homicide cases where it's first degree murder. But in the other charge, if a child is involved, it's going to put you in that aggravated range. And then your defense attorney will be trying to argue some mitigated ranges, factors to get you back in that presumptive range. And so, yes, every time that there is a child involved, say for a DWI, you got a kid in the car. Well, that's automatically putting you in the aggravated range just because the child's involved. With the homicide, it won't move you much off because we start with the death penalty in our state. We go from the death penalty, if they decide not to seek that, to life without parole. So there's not many more aggravating factors than that. You can't really go higher than life without parole.
We've been talking about criminal records in recent weeks here, and we even talked about it yesterday, and judges setting release and bond conditions based on that one specific case that is in front of them. But in a case like this, where we have a lot of criminal history, we have car thefts alleged to have happened on the same day, and then you have this incident and the shooting death. Do any of those other cases weigh into a decision of what's being charged or in trial here?
It does, and definitely want to be clear that the judge is looking at that one individual, but their past is considered in making that determination. 15A533 and 534 specifically, those are statutes in North Carolina that require that you look at the person's history, ties to the community, the weight of the evidence, the nature of the charge. They're looking at a number of factors. There's about 11 of them. And so, yes, if you're going to look at, their history of going to court, you're going to look at their past history. You can't determine it just on this charge, but this charge will go to the weight of the evidence, the nature of the charge. So when you have a crime like this, the DA's office is specifically going to say, look at this type of charge.
All of these suspects, and we're getting ready to get a little deeper into the actual suspects, but at least 3 of these suspects had previous records. One didn't have a record at all. Now, once again, it's like, why are they let back out into society with a criminal past, violent offenders? We've seen this, and we've been seeing this for years all over the United States. Individuals with a violent record, individuals with previous crimes, they're allowed back out on the streets. And the sad thing about it is, in many of these cases, these suspects walk free and don't spend a day in prison. Let's go deeper into the suspects, y'all. I'm going to take y'all to the suspects. Let me let the brother finish giving us from the legal side of things, and then we're going to go to the actual suspects.
Look, and then they're going to say, we have this litany, a laundry list of evidence against them. And then we'll say, also, this person's past shows that they won't come to court. Now, when you list a number of these charges, while they do involve guns, most of those were misdemeanors. Possession of marijuana, concealed carry, unless it's your second offense, that's a misdemeanor charge anyway. So a number of these folks, while they do appear to be a lengthy history, a lot of them are lower level charges. Except for that armed robbery charge was a felony. I didn't see any other felony pop up on the charges.
All right, let's go to the actual suspects, y'all. Let's tap into these suspects.
4-year-old child has died over a car, over a stolen car. And I just want that to just sink in for just a minute.
Now, Queen City News, several arrests made in the deadly shooting of a sleeping child in Southwest Charlotte. The new details just released from the investigation. And in the wake of the deadly light rail stabbing, the changes that Governor Josh Stein now calling for as he visits Charlotte for the first time since the incident. Kara.
Weather's nice outside, but our dry situation, it's gotten worse here this week. If there's any relief with any rain in the forecast as we head into the weekend, that's coming up.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Alicia Barnes. Queen City News at 4 starts right now with breaking developments in the investigation into the deadly shooting of the 4-year-old that happened yesterday in Southwest Charlotte. 4 suspects are now facing charges in connection with that deadly shooting, and court records now show Anthony Abel joins Angelo Hudson, Jordan Davis, and Marquise Guerrier as the suspects now in custody after a series of crimes yesterday that ended in gunfire at a home on Cigar Court. Now, officials now say that Abel was arrested in Raleigh. CMPD officials also say the victim has been identified as 4-year-old Jayce Edwards. Queen City News reporter Robin Kennedy heard from neighbors and the police about the tragic shooting.
And I just want to stress the gravity of the situation, that a 4-year-old child has died over a car.
Hearts are heavy over the loss of 4-year-old Jayce Edwards, but neighbors are feeling relieved that 4 suspects have now been arrested and charged with murder.
I think that's good news. I just hope that justice will prevail all the way through.
Charlotte-Mecklenburg police say Wednesday morning around 6 a.m., someone at the home of the 4-year-old saw the suspects trying to steal a car in the parking lot of the townhomes on Cigar Court. Police say the suspects then just started firing into the home, shooting and killing 4-year-old Jayce.
This has deeply shaken the community and the officers that had to respond to this incident.
A manhunt got underway in Southwest Charlotte. Police say they received information that the suspects may have been in a white Jeep Cherokee. They found that car, tried to pull them over, and got into a chase that ended on Duval Drive. Then there was a standoff and barricade situation for hours until police arrested 24-year-old Marquise Guerrier, 20-year-old Angelo Hudson, and 23-year-old Jordan Davis. Police say 18-year-old Anthony Abel got away and fled to Raleigh and was arrested Thursday.
Every one of these offenders have had some prior contact with law enforcement, and that's just, unfortunately, sometimes the challenge we have to face is with people that are repeat offenders, and it's our responsibility to keep making those arrests, and we do our part and hope the justice system can do their part.
In Charlotte, Robin Kennedy.
We can't win for lose, y'all, but
and 23-year-old Jordan.
Let's chop it up. Chat, what are y'all thoughts on this? Who is more dangerous to the black community? Is it black men? Is it black women? Is it black children? Is it the police? Is it white men? Is it politicians? Who is more dangerous to the black community? Or is it just the norm for us? These people and teachers. Is this type of behavior and these things that are going on in our community, is it just norm? Or we supposed to be like this? You know, this is how God wanted it. This is how the devil wanted it. This is how they wanted it. Is this our norm? Talk to me. I'll even drop the link. If anybody want to join me on the panel, feel free to join me on the panel. You don't have to have your camera on. You can turn your camera off. All right, let's chop it up, chat. Statements by Rainbow says all but us first, and unfortunately, it's the new normal. The Haunted House says both older men and women. Kamara says both. Excuse me. Let me see. $318. No, that's not what I want. I want to take a deeper dive into them. 318. All right, let me come here, y'all.
And I want to thank the officers of our CMPD SWAT team, as well as the officers, patrol officers on scene, for bringing that barricade to a peaceful resolution. As a result of that incident, 3 suspects were taken into custody and transported here to LEC to be interviewed by detectives. A 4th suspect was located this morning in Raleigh by the Raleigh Police Department Fugitive Unit in coordination with our Violent Criminal Apprehension Team. The individuals arrested and charged in connection with this case are 24-year-old Marquise Guerrier, 20-year-old Angelo Hudson, 23-year-old Jordan Davis, and 18-year-old Anthony Abel. Each one of these individuals has been formally charged with murder. I want to extend my thanks to our partners with the York County Sheriff's Office with the information they were able to provide to us in this case, the Raleigh Police Department, the officers of our Steel Creek Division for their response, our CMPD SWAT team, VCAT, and Scarlet personnel who all assisted in bringing this case to a quick close. This is an unimaginable loss for the family. And as a parent, I can't imagine the thought of losing a child. And I know this doesn't bring closure to the family, but we do hope that this is a step towards delivering justice that will give them some peace, that even though they're suffering this loss right now, that we have worked hard to try and bring resolution to this case. And CMPD is as always committed to protecting our neighborhoods and supporting our residents and ensuring that justice is served in this case and every case. So I'll take any questions you have now.
Mayor, if you can, please. We're hearing that the vehicle that was stolen may not have come from the home where the 4-year-old was at. Is that correct?
It was near the home. I won't go into the specifics of the owners of the cars and the details of the investigation, but it was in the vicinity of the home.
So they were doing neighborly duty. They were looking out. And it's sad, and I'm going to tell y'all why it's sad, y'all, because I'll be the main one. It's the whole young generation. I'll be the main one and others, but I'm always talking about we need to get involved. I'm always saying for the community to get involved. But it seems like whenever we, as the community, get involved, whenever we mind other people's business, because the family, it wasn't even their vehicle. They could have just simply said, it ain't my vehicle. I'm going to mind my own business. They could have done that. But they done the right thing. Y'all, we so jacked up. Our community is so jacked up. I mean, come on, y'all. Come on. This is the one thing that we stress. We got to do better in the community. If we see something wrong, we got to get involved. And to have your loved one lose their life, imagine how they feel. You know what I'm talking about? Just imagine how they feel like, God damn. I thought I was doing the right thing. We was doing the right thing by getting involved. If we would have just minded our own business, and that's why most people mind their own business. Can we argue there are not enough support resources or opportunities for these young men? I disagree. I agree with you. And that's why I said for the celebrities, for the leaders, for the churches, for everybody that's in our community that looks like me and you. That's our responsibility to put recreational centers, put things in our communities to give these young men something to do. When we were growing up, we had recreational centers. You know, we had things that occupied us. But it's just like, as a whole, we are so divided, and we expecting everybody else to clean up our community. But I definitely agree with you, Passion. That is literally true. For example, most of us understand we have to work for what we want, regardless of what has happened to our ancestors. But there are those who feel like they are old, and for that reason, they take. That's facts. Passion, facts. They definitely don't. That's exactly why they always getting into some ish. Just my opinion. That's the whole point. Welcome to the Shankwide platform. If you would like to become a member, just click on the link and become a member. Simon says so true. I feel it's a domino effect that stems down from politics. That's true. Right. They took the recs and Boys and Girls Club, but kept the sports. Facts. That's facts.
So my thought was that this may be just a chance that someone turned the light on in that 4-year-old's room, and that alone made him the target. Is that correct?
Certainly feasible.
The residents who saw this, was their residence the home of the 4-year-old, or is this another residence of the person who witnessed the car theft?
Yeah, yes, the residence was fired into was the residence of the 4-year-old, where the subject was looking out the window.
Do you have any reason to believe that this could be gang related?
I have no indication at this point. We're still very early. There's a lot of work still to do in this case, the exact motivation or any gang ties or anything like that.
So, according to my resource, a family member of Jayce just looked out the window. The family member didn't even make a phone call. They just looked out the window. And maybe the suspects seen the light, and maybe that's what made the suspects let off the rounds to the house. So that's all the family member done, was looked out the window.
You talked about the fact that this is over a car. Mm-hmm. From your perspective on vehicle thefts, how serious has this crime become that we're doing this? And it sounds like this group had a penchant for Dodge vehicles. Mm-hmm.
You know, every crime is serious, and cars come and go, and it's unfortunate that this incident turned violent. But we certainly don't want to take any crime lightly, and a lot of times, you know, property crime kind of takes a backseat to violent acts, but any of these acts can turn violent at any time, and that's what happened in this case. A property crime, which is usually a very simple thing. We're going to take something that doesn't belong to us, turned very tragic very quickly, and resulted in this very unfortunate loss.
Can you also clarify what happened prior to, we understand there was a Durango that was stolen in Cabarrus, also a Camaro that was stolen in York. What I'm understanding from the affidavit is the Durango was on scene with the 4-year-old, where the 4-year-old was killed. Was the Camaro also on scene of that? Were they tied to these suspects?
Again, still part of the ongoing investigation. I don't personally have all the ins and outs of everything. Our homicide detectives are piecing all of these things together to make sure we have the correct timeline of events that led up to this.
You mentioned York County. What was
yes, sir. York County assisted us providing some information related to the case that made us able to make the apprehensions without getting into the specifics and the details of it. And all this will be able to be put out later. But for now, suffice to say, they provided some very important information that enabled us to make these arrests.
So allegedly, it was a car theft ring. They got a car theft ring going on. York County is in South Carolina, and the Steel Creek area is in North Carolina. So I want to go to what the neighbors had to say. Give me a few seconds, y'all, while I pull up the neighbors in this case. And then I'll come back to the chat. We got to do better. We got to do better as a people. And we can't expect for others to fix our community, especially when it's a conspiracy to destroy our community. So
the neighborhood where that shooting happened early yesterday morning, again in the Steel Creek area, just off of South Tryon Street. That's where we find our Rachel Richardson. So Rachel, you've been in that area for much of the day, talking with neighbors about this tragedy. What have you seen there, and how are folks reacting to the news a day later?
It's been really emotional out here. And in fact, I spoke with a lot of people who say that they're emotionally recovering from the loss of 4-year-old Jayce Edwards, who they described as a joy. Earlier today, I actually watched a neighbor place flowers on the family's doorstep, and others are saying that they're doing whatever they can to make sure they feel supported during this difficult time. 24-year-old Marquise Guerrier, 20-year-old Angelo Hudson, and 23-year-old Jordan Davis were all arrested. And now 18-year-old Anthony Abel has been arrested and charged with murder. After 4-year-old Jayce Edwards was killed after his home was shot into Wednesday morning, neighbors say they were relieved that arrests have been made, but are still fearful.
It feels great, but I'm still in fear. Even last night, I usually sleep with the meditation on YouTube channel with my TV, but I had to keep my TV off because I'm afraid if something happened or someone on the other side sees a light in the room and they start shooting, thinking someone's at the window.
One neighbor tells me she's lived here for the past 5 years.
I have never had a bad experience in this neighborhood. Like, it's tucked back off the main road. It's very quiet.
She says this is a pretty quiet and safe area where she'd never expect a shooting like Wednesday's.
It's one street over. I walk my dog through on that road. My neighbor, my good friend lives over there. So I was very, my heart just broke for that family.
One neighbor who wanted to stay anonymous says Jayce always had a smile and a message for his neighbors.
He would come outside, and when he's leaving, he'll go, "Hi, I'm going out," and he'll wave bye.
She says he was always a pleasure to be around and watch spread cheer in this community. It's what she says she'll miss the most.
He was very joyful, always. His joy is gonna be missed.
let me come to the chat, y'all. They could have took that baby out. They didn't have to shoot. So sad. You got that right, Shank. There's so much craziness going on. I just don't understand. These people need to find something better to do with for life. It ain't nobody suffering for this stupidness but kids. It's like people don't care for their kids like our parents used to. That's facts. Shaking my head. Bad choices all the way around for the young men. What if they are a part of a bigger crew? Got that right, Passion, because somebody need to lead these young men in a better direction. And it's just, when it comes to our community and when it comes to black men, if you positive, you corny, you lame. If you do the right thing, you get called corny and lame. But you get glorified when you do things like this. Now, believe it or not, somewhere, some people are glorifying what they done. Some people are glorifying, calling them, yo, they real. Yo, they street. Yo, that's my people right there. Yo, that's my cousin that did that. Yo, my cousin went out with a bang. And then you got others that's buying in to the BS. Yeah, I want to be like that when I grow up. And so the pattern continues. TT says, sad, man. So now you got this lifestyle. It's embedded in us. It's programmed in us that if you do that, then you a real one. But if you go to school and get an education, and if you work, and if you go into business for yourself, that's corny. Sad, man. This is so sad. How come people from third world countries can come here and do better than the average black person? The saddest thing is literally they don't care about black history and black young boys. And the only place them people going to find them at and people that's glorifying them is in jail. And I know times has changed, but you don't see it amongst other group of people. And that's why, for me, I got to hold anybody, any organizations, any brotherhoods, any sisterhoods in our community, celebrities. I got to hold them accountable because they can make a difference. Money can make a difference. Because if money couldn't make a difference, we wouldn't work hard for money. We wouldn't do what we got to do to obtain money if money didn't make a difference. Money makes a hell of a difference. It used to be a time when that's what the lesson of today was. Y'all remember back in the 70s and 80s, we were called out. Those were called sellouts. We would call out black people that made it out of the ghetto and didn't come back and help the ghetto. Well, why is it today, why they don't get called out? Why do they get a pass? Appreciate that super sticker, Mary. Y'all see how things that we fought for and things that we stood for back in the days, y'all see how now it's out the window and it's corny and lame. And people will say, "Oh, that's their money. They don't got to give money back. They don't got to do nothing for the community." They do. They get paid off of the community, huh? How do the black athletes get paid? How do the black entertainers? They get paid from corporate America, but corporate America get paid off of the black community by promoting and selling that BS to our community. And they use you and I to do it. And then when you and I get that money that we made off of our own community, we won't even come back and spend money in our community, let alone we won't even come back and build up our community. Why is it that every other nationality come in the black community and set up shop and get rich, but not us? I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. A little baby, a little boy was robbed of his life Where's the outrage? Anybody? Where's the outrage? Appreciate the super sticker, Mark. No outrage. No outrage. Where are our celebrities at? Where are our entertainers? Where are our religious people? See? And guess what? What happened to Jayce, it wasn't a play. It wasn't a conspiracy. It wasn't a distraction. We quick to say it was a distraction. We quick to say it's a conspiracy. What happened to Jayce was caused by 4 black men. Where's the outrage? I see you, Maria. Is it wrong that I'm angrier at this than George Floyd? I'm angry that we steal and unalive each other and not think twice about it. No protests or nothing. Now, don't get me wrong, because I don't want us to, when, the police is in them, I don't want us to, when they kill us, I don't want us to get norm to that. And I see a day that's coming when they kill us. We ain't even going to protest when they kill us. But I'm only focusing in on this demonstration. I'm focusing in on why is there never an outrage when we kill each other? And in my opinion, I think that there's no outrage because it will force us to look at us and hold us accountable. And that's one of our biggest problems in our community. That's one of black people's biggest problems as a race, holding each other accountable. It used to be a time when we would hold each other accountable, but we've gotten to the point now it's taboo to hold each other accountable. Coffee Girl says, I think there's no outrage because we're used to it. We won't hold each other accountable. And when we do, we push the narrative. Why we can't do what we want to do? Y'all remember when Monique came for the young girls? Monique need to sit her old ass down. We should be able to do what we want to do. It's always that's the answer. Whenever one of us hold each other accountable, we can do what we want to do. I don't see nothing wrong with this. I don't see nothing wrong with that. We are doing something just by being here talking about it. We are acknowledging this stuff is happening, but it's more that needs to be done. And I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, Mary. I get so much, y'all, of these cases. So many of these cases. I get tagged in so many of these cases. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Mr. Shankrock, can you please help? Mr. Shankrock, can you please cover this case? And I'd be like, damn, why? Why did this have to happen? Make sure we are throwing up some prayer hands for Jayce and his family. Also, make sure we are hashtagging justice for Jayce Edwards. I'm going to grab one more clip and then we'll get out of here. I'll do a part two. I'll do a part two tomorrow. But I just wanted to come before you guys because I was watching it. I've been watching the news on this story ever since it took place. I've been watching it, but I will continue to cover the case and keep you all updated on it.
Have identified 4-year-old Jayce Edwards as the victim in the stolen vehicle robbery. That's new tonight. It turned to a homicide. It took place early Wednesday morning off of Cigar Court. Today, police have identified 4-year-old Jayce Edwards as the victim in the stolen vehicle robbery. That's new tonight. It turned to a homicide. It took place early Wednesday morning off of Cigar Court. Today, 4 of the suspects, here's 3 of them, charged with murder. Authorities have identified those suspects as 24-year-old Marquise Guerrier, 20-year-old Angelo Hudson, 23-year-old Jordan Davis, and 18-year-old Anthony Abel. WCNC Charlotte's Bria Smith has the latest.
3 out of the 4 suspects were expected to appear in court for their first court appearance. And Thursday afternoon, CMPD announced the charges for all 4 suspects.
Each one of these individuals has been formally charged with murder.
CMPD's Major Ryan Kendall says his team received a tip that all 4 men fled the scene Wednesday in a white Jeep Cherokee, the pursuit ending in a standoff in Steel Creek.
When something like this happens, but then when it happens 3 doors down from you, how do you explain it,
Authorities say the suspects attempted to steal a Dodge Charger from the Steel Creek neighborhood. Before the suspects left the scene, they fired several shots. One of those bullets went through a wall into an upstairs bedroom and struck 4-year-old Jayce Edwards, who was pronounced dead on scene.
This is an unimaginable loss for the family. And as a parent, I can't imagine the thought of losing a child. And I know this doesn't bring closure to the family, but we do hope that this is a step towards delivering justice that will give them some peace, that even though they're suffering this loss right now, that we have worked hard to try and bring resolution to this case.
3 of the suspects were given no bond and appointed a public defender. They're expected back in court on October 9th. A 4th suspect was arrested in Raleigh. He'll be arraigned later this month. Still, neighbors are shaken.
It feels great, but I'm still in fear. Even last night, I usually sleep with the meditation on YouTube channel with my TV, but I had to keep my TV off because I'm afraid if something happened or someone on the other side sees a light in the room and they start shooting, thinking someone's at the window. We woke up this morning, opened the door, just making sure there's no shenanigan outside, but it was very scarce to sleep last night. But when we woke up to the news this morning, I was relieved.
The investigation is still ongoing, and we'll keep you updated with more information as we learn it. And a GoFundMe account was created by the Cigar Court neighborhood for the Edwards family. For more information on how to donate, visit our WCNC mobile app. Outside.
And I will drop that link to the GoFundMe if any of you all want to donate to the GoFundMe. I'll drop the link on the comment section. Murray says 5 lives gone, and for what? Because their lives are going too. and a little baby that didn't even get to know what life was about. Justice for Jayce Edwards. Stop being rude and being childish and stay in your zone. That's the problem. Tariq would be facing capital M charges in Texas because Jayce was under 10. That will be automatic DP case. How y'all feel about the DP? How y'all feel about the death penalty? Drop a 1 if you're for the death penalty. Drop a 2 if you're against it. I'm for the death penalty. I'm for the death penalty. Some cases varies. In this case, I would say death penalty. A little baby lost his life. I mean, come on. It's senseless. It's senseless, Sama. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. Death penalty. Statement said a 1. Do y'all think things will get any better? Charger girl dropped a 1. Do y'all think that things will get better? And if y'all think things will get better, what are some solutions? Anybody have any solutions? Some cases. It's like every time you turn on the news, every time you on social media, every time you stroll down your timeline, Murray says, I pray that things get better. Every time you stroll down TikTok, every time you stroll down Facebook, Instagram, it's always these cases. Crazy because crazy over someone being stupid. Lots of prayers for real. The old me say 1, I'm on a new journey though. I wish they would, but I think it's just going to keep getting worse, sad. Like you ain't safe nowhere. Bridget says, I'm 50-50 both ways. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't go to school. You know, you ain't safe in your home. Things have to change from the system and home along with prayer. I agree. A lot got to be changed. I pray it gets better. This is bigger than a community fix. That's facts, Passion. That's facts. I'm tired of hearing black fatigue, and this is a huge factor. I'm tired of hearing it too. More activities these kids can get into within their community. They older members need to take a part and advocate. I'm with you. I'm with you on that, TT. And you got that right, Shank. Sometimes I just sit here and cry about all the craziness shit I see on TikTok, YouTube, but all it does is make you scared to leave your house because you never know. That's facts, Mary. You know, it's facts. It's like you become scared. You know? At this point, can we have a recount on the percentage of at this point, can we have a recount of the percentage of us in the U.S.? Are we becoming extinct if we don't change something now? Excellent point. Excellent point. I see you, Miss Party Line. When I say older members, I mean the older gang members who drop their flag need to get out and advocate. That's what, in my opinion, if the older gangbangers 60 years old, 50 years old, and 40 years old, if they could get out and advocate, if they could use their platforms to advocate and cover these kind of cases, I see too many ex-gang members in their 60s, 50s, and 40s. They got platforms, but all they talk about is gang stuff. That's all they talk about is how it was, and all they talk about is what they done when they was gang banging. We get all of that. Most of us come from that lifestyle. We get that. And it's okay to touch off on it here and there. But that's all you talk about on your platform? How this set got started. How that set got started. How this set and that set started beefing. So I agree with you, TT. I'll reach out to a couple of my OG gangbanging partners and see if they can use their platforms to advocate these stories. More jobs, more activities, more people who can be mentored. I'm with you, Sama. Pastors need to stop stealing from the collection plate and get out in the community. Y'all know that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? All of them. All of them. All these churches in our communities and not one recreation center. You got 7 black churches within a quarter of a mile, a half of a mile. 7 black churches. It's no way that it's not at least one recreation center in the community. It's nobody else's, hear me out, y'all. It's nobody else's responsibility to put the recreation centers in our community. It's our responsibility. We got the money. We got the resources. That's our responsibility. Like I said before, go to any other nationality neighborhood. You're going to see community outreaches. You're going to see recs. You're going to see things going on in their communities for the young. I see you, Manny. I see you, Levite. Mari, I'm scared in my house, especially when I'm asleep. We become scared or immune to the BS. Coffee Girl, facts. The book of Revelation, that's what's happening. I would love to hear more conversations from the older black men on what has to happen to help these young men. We have 3 community centers with programs from 6 to 18, and that's good. That's so good, Minnie. That's good. And for those that do have recreation centers in y'all community, shout out to you all. TT up at the front of the church with the credit card machine. Now, if you would like to attend the homegoing services for young Jayce Edwards, it's October the 4th in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll post the actual address, the time, and all of that. But if you're in Charlotte and if you would like to attend his homegoing service, it will be on October the 4th. And I'll keep everybody up to date on what's going on with the case. Sad. You know, it's just sad. Oh, my coffee girl, I haven't been to church in a long time. What happened to Reach One, Teach One? They shut down most of the programs for the youth. Coffee girl, not the credit card machine. Everyone is in fear now because these youngsters don't have no respect for no one, no more. It's hard to get through to them now. It's sad. And that's facts, y'all. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Once again, if you would like to support the channel by helping me reach my goal of 15 super stickers or super chats, just click on the $ symbol. I'm going to leave the chat running and you all can hang around, and I'll see everybody back tomorrow. There's not enough guidance within youth groups, people that they can look up to. Really sad, yes. Just people promoting violence. And you know the sad thing, Shank, I don't think it's ever going to stop. And unfortunately, Murray, I believe you. At one time, maybe 20 years ago, I just knew things were going to change and things was going to stop. I feel like you now, Murray. I feel like you. It's all ages, though. Bridget says Zelle, Cash App, and CC Machine, and cash in the basket. I'll leave the chat running. Salute everybody. I'll see y'all back tomorrow. Salute everybody.